Hi, I am Patty Elhoff, the author of Upcycle with Decoupage, available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and several online retailers, including Scobie Books out of London, in case you're watching this video over the pond. And today I'd like to show you how to upcycle, recycle, repurpose, whatever you like to call it, a cigar box. But this is one of those things that would have ended up in the trash or at a flea market where I found it. And I'd like to show you how to decoupage it so it can be reused. And these things are great for remote controls. If they're the right size, the remote control fits perfectly in there, but you can use them for whatever you want. They're great in the bathroom. You can put dishcloths in them, towels, soaps, products that you would like hidden, because we are going to cover it up. Today I'm going to go with a theme called Paperazzi. That's the name of the paper I got. I've never seen this before, and I thought it would be interesting to do a black and white project. Here's what we'll need. A box, gesso, and gesso is to cover up on this. You can see that there's a little writing there. The gesso is to cover up any writing. It's also a thicker paint, so it'll smooth that box out nicely. Decoupage glue, obviously our paper, sponge brushes, and you'll need at least 3, one for the gesso, one for the decoupage glue, and one for the top coat, which is the next thing I was going to mention. Scissors and or this Fisker's cutting utensil. I don't know what you call that. It does cut. You see how perfectly it could cut. And we need an exact cut on this. And I find these invaluable when I'm doing decoupage. So if you could keep some, you could see I've used them pretty heavily. The heavy grit, the hardest grit nail files you can find, they're perfect for sanding off edges. So the first step is cover your box in gesso, which I have already done for the purposes of this video. I am now going to paint the inside of the box with black because we're going with a black and white theme. So I will take my sponge brush and start to paint that now, and I'll come right back to you when I'm done. I painted my box very high gloss black inside, bottom, back, part of the front, and the top and these sides are what I'm going to decoupage. I'm just going to add a layer of decoupage glue. I'll do that right now, to the one section only where I'm going to decoupage. And I already pre-cut the sizes that I need for this top and the sides. And I left a hair, just a little bit over on the top, the bottom, actually on all 4 sides, because for me I find it almost impossible to get an exact size cut. There's always a little space somewhere, and if you can do that, great, if you can get it exactly. But what I do is I just tend to make my piece of paper, I cut it a little, really little larger than the size I need, very little larger. Now, place this down. I'll smooth it out gently so the decoupage is working as a glue underneath. This top section is dry. Always make sure you press the edges down in any decoupage project, whether you're using one sheet or a cutout of something. It's very, very important to always get these edges down. That's what keeps everything intact, flat, and lasting. See, I've got some overages here and here. I'm going to continue. I just wanted to show you how to do that. Now I'm going to decoupage this side and this side, and when I'm done, I'm going to let it dry for a little while, maybe 15 minutes tops. Then I'm going to take the nail file, which is why you want your heaviest grit, and you go right along that crease in one direction. Sometimes if you go in both, it can pull the paper up, and then you get mad at yourself because you just messed up what you worked on. So I'll be right back after I've finished the sides and sanded this off. Okay, I decoupaged the top and the sides. Loving the way this came out so far. And I used the file to go along the edges. You know, when I press really tightly here, you could see a natural crease. And then, like I told you, in one direction, I just filed and filed all along these edges. And they came out very clean. And now we'll add a coat of decoupage glue over the surface. And rather than go back and forth several times with the decoupage glue, on this particular paper, I am just going to put a coat on and not get too carried away with going back and forth, back and forth. So we will want to apply first this one coat. Make sure you get the edges. Try and keep it in one direction. So we apply this one coat. I'm going to let it dry. I'll apply it to the other sides that I decoupaged as well. I'll let it dry. Then I'm going to apply 2 more coats. It normally takes about 15 minutes between coats for this to dry. I will apply 2 more coats, and because I'm using a top coat called triple thick, which is very thick, I don't have to apply several layers of decoupage glue. So I'm going to apply this coat, 2 more, and then I'm going to apply the top coat. And I'll be right back. Here is our pretty unique black and white finished box. It's finished as far as decoupage and painting goes. I'm going to put a glossy top coat on. As you can see, the paint I used is a glossy black. So as I use this very, very shiny top coat, one thing when you're using this, if you're using the triple thick, which I recommend, you do have to get used to using it because it is so thick that you want to make sure you apply it very carefully, and you're not supposed to go over it several times back and forth. You just want to make sure you're covering, because it is so thick you can actually miss spots. So look at it in very, very bright light so you can see if you've missed any spots. And this is good over decoupage or over acrylic paint. That's all I ever use it over, acrylic or decoupage, so I can attest to those surfaces. But you want to make sure you don't put it on too thick because it can also drip and run, and that doesn't look too good. So I'm going to finish the top coat. I will come back and show you the finished project, and I am top coating the whole box, so I'll be putting this high gloss over the paper and the rest of the box, and I'll be back in a moment to show you the completed project. Okay, there's our finished cigar box. What was once used for cigars, got a nice high gloss on it, can now be used to keep your nail polishes in, your remote controls. I'm sure you have your own ideas of what you'd like to use that for. But again, it's something that would have ended up either in the landfill or at a flea market, which is again where I found it. You know I've got 100 of these stored away someplace. Oh, one other thing. I left this inside of here while it was drying so that it didn't dry shut. You probably already knew to do that or do something like that. But very happy with the way it came out. If you've got any questions, please send them on over to me. And again, my name is Patty Elhoff. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Patio Elf. Don't forget about my book, Upcycle with Decoupage. And happy that I could help you out, hopefully inspire you a little bit. Take it easy, guys.